Hey guys, we're back here to review Scorn, a new Microsoft exclusive title. This one's out on Xbox, it's out on PC. I was pretty hyped to try this one out considering, there's not many exclusive games out. The art style really impressed me. I was interested in maybe what this was going to be about, but Scorn really disturbed me in just so many ways. I have no idea how I managed to push through to the end. I had to if I wanted to do a review. The game is just so visually weird, disturbing, and honestly just really boring. Like I said, I was interested at first, but within an hour of playing, I just immediately just couldn't get into it. I lost all interest, and I felt like I was just seeing it through just to see what happened, hoping the end would kind of pick up a little bit, and all of the stuff I was going through was possibly worth it. I'm not gonna have any spoilers in the review. If you guys want to watch this, feel free to look at the gameplay, judge it. There's not gonna be anything past, maybe Act 2, just because there isn't much to spoil because the game's really hard to understand. But if this is something you want to go into blind and you don't really care what I rate it, feel free to watch it. You'll have no spoilers here going through. So I can't say that Scorn is a bad game. It really just might not have been a game for me. The game has been in development for like 6 years, and really stays true to its vision. I'll give it props to that, but I really just can't say it did much else right. To start off with some backstory here about Scorn, like I said, it's been in development for 6 years. I didn't really expect a shooter title here. I knew it was going to be something about puzzles. There was a really cool environment in all the trailers that was shown off. I thought it'd be like an atmospheric puzzle game. And, after beating it, I needed at least a day or two to just figure out kind of what happened and how I felt about this entire thing. If we start off on graphics, the game is amazing. It is H.R. Giger, whatever, the guy who made Alien inspired. So if you've seen Alien, if you've watched Prometheus, this is the kind of art style that you're going to be getting. They don't really stray away from that, and that's really cool. You feel like you're within like some kind of fleshy looking ship where everything looks like skin. There's a lot of dick references everywhere. When it comes to the gun, when it comes to the consoles, it's a lot of blood. It's really, really gory. Really, I guess what I could say here is the devs stuck to this. And my only complaint here is that it got boring really, really fast, except for the last act. The last act, in my opinion, was the coolest visually. I wish we got a little more than that. But the visuals did get stale. The rooms started to all look the same, and that made it really confusing, going through the puzzles. And basically what ended up happening here is you're wandering around, and you're just trying to figure out puzzles, and honestly really just getting lost half the time. Speaking of puzzles, that's, again, what the game's about. Each act has a giant room that you need to basically solve, and within that room there are smaller puzzles. Puzzles aren't anything crazy here. The first one, in my opinion, was really the hardest puzzle, where you move these eggs around, you get it to an end goal. We've seen something like this before. It's nothing crazy again. There's another puzzle with a white ball that you have to move around in a maze. The twist here is there's 3 monitors, and you're basically doing these little mini games to get through this giant act. In my opinion, I was let down when it came to just the giant room puzzles, because it was really just walk around and see what you can interact with. If it highlights, press A or press space, whatever it is you're doing, click on it, and figure out if you can interact with it. And then from there, look for something else that you can activate. Eventually you can get those two things to work together and you'll be out of the room. So it's a lot of just trial and error until you figure out what you need to do to move on to the other, room, or unlock some kind of tram or elevator to get to the next section. So with the puzzles here being kind of a letdown, at least there's combat, right? This video's out late, you guys probably already know this right now, but wrong. Completely wrong. Combat is the worst part of the game. You're better off just running. You're better off not dealing with it. It just felt like it was tacked on. It felt like the developers, were playing it and decided, oh hey, people like shooters, people like fighting, we need some kind of combat in the game. In my opinion, they should have just taken it out. The game is not scary, the enemies aren't scary, you're not worried about them. The scariest thing in the game is how far back the checkpoint system will set you. Because there are parts where the game will just throw enemies at you, where you basically have to either kill them, cheese them, or somehow run by. You can't dodge because your guy is just really, really weak, which I get is part of the game. But there's a few enemies that are basically, if they spit acid out, it is almost a guaranteed hit. You start off the game with this, penis pump looking thing. It just extends and it looks really wrong. It's really hard to aim. It's got a, weird cooldown. You can only shoot it twice. And it's just, I just kept missing with it. I hated that thing so much, it couldn't wait to get the gun. And then when you get the gun, your guy can't aim it. You got to stand still. The problem with standing still is that you're going to get spit on. So yeah, the combat was just really frustrating. And like I said, I found myself dying a lot in Act 3 because there was literally a section where I had 1 life. It set me back around 7 or 8 minutes. I had nowhere to charge up my heals. The heals are basically these consoles that'll give you 3 or 4 heals, and that's it. Good luck until you find the next one. And like I said, I had to repeat this maybe 10 times before I got through. I got to the point where I wanted to quit, but was like, you know what? I can't drop a review if I don't beat the game. We got to get through this. And I was basically just spawning, activating a door, which was super slow. Everything in the game is really slow. That's, I guess the point of it. You run through that door, you turn left, you charge at the spitting thing, you hit it twice with your little penis pump before it tries to hit you, because if it hits you, you're dead. Run forward, another one's going to drop down from the wall, attack that one, run away, hide around the corner, come back out, hit it again because it needs to charge up, run past that corner, ditch the guy that's in the middle because odds are he kept killing me, get to the next corner, run away from the other thing that drops down from the wall, then you've got a tentacle that comes down and spits acid, don't get hit by that, activate another console, and try to kill 2 fucking enemies that just surround you, where I had to hide behind a door and hit it, run away, and it was just, geez, if you can't tell, that is the worst part of the game for me was Act 3. I literally memorized it just because of how bad it was. It felt like the developers didn't play the game because one mistake punished you so much. And I play Dark Souls games. I've played Elden Ring, Sekiro, and I get it. Mistakes you're supposed to be punished. You're not supposed to die sometimes. But at least when I tried those levels over again or whatever the checkpoint was, the game was at least fun. And the weapons here are just not fun at all. And they just feel like they were thrown in to just check a box. So if combat sucks, at least we've got story, right? You're in this crazy looking alien flesh ship, everything, is weird, and you're just trying to get through the next door, but there's no dialogue, there's no text, there's no clues, you're really just looking at the walls, hoping you see a mosaic or something, and piece together what you think the story is. It's a cool concept on paper, but when the game punishes you for combat, it's really not that fun. It just really feels empty because you beat it, you'll go read an article and that guy will be guessing and trying to tell you what it's about, but basically everyone's just guessing. There's no defined story here. I think it really hurts the game because the concept is just so cool. I wish the developers added something like a computer console or something with text or something that'll push your character forward, because half the time I was just thinking to myself, why am I even doing this? What's the end goal here? So the only other thing I can give the game props for is really just sound. You have this cool atmospheric sound, it sounds creepy, it supports the environment, it makes the graphics just that much better. Every little thing you activate, every door that opens, just the squishing sounds of enemies, and I mean, most of the game is macaroni noises, but I mean, it fits the whole style. Sound design is just top notch. So if you haven't gotten it by now, Scorn honestly disappoints me. I love the environment, and even though it got stale, the sound design was awesome. It made you feel like you were in this ship trying to figure out what's going on. But just the lack of a story pushing you there, and then the lack of fun. I mean, honestly, really, it just really comes down to the lack of fun brings the game down for me. I would never spend $40 on this title. I would barely even want to spend $20, and I'm glad I got it on Gamepass. I've seen people rave about how good this is, and I can't just critically give this a good score because of just sound and graphics. I beat the game in 5 hours, so I mean, I completely feel like I wasted my time. I could have beat it sooner, but honestly, guys, I distracted myself a lot. I cleaned, I went with my wife to Target, I volunteered actually to go to Target, and it's things that I would just never do. I went and did because I just didn't want to continue this game. I was back and forth of even bothering to review it, but I was like, you know what, if I'm going through this, I need to put a video out. I need to just get my thoughts out there. I wasn't really having fun playing the game at all. Felt like it was just designed so poorly to where I doubt the devs even tried it. You know, those checkpoints during Act 3 just suck so bad. The guns are clunky, and the game would have just been better even without enemies in combat. By the time you reach the end, if you can somehow just get through everything, you'll be confused as hell, and that just sucks because it's a world that's so cool looking. The environment really just makes it here. There's just so much potential, and I can't just make up things and make up stories in my head and give it a high score because of the nice presentation. Scorn for me comes out to just a 4 out of 10, and that's because it gets graphics and sound right. That's it. So I've seen enough opinions to know that I'm in the minority here, guys. I think that if you have Game Pass, give it a try, sub for a month, get that $1 deal, see what it is, see if it's something for you. I mean, if it wasn't for me, that doesn't mean that it might not be a good fit for you. Game Pass, in my opinion, is a huge value. There's a ton of games coming out. Plague Tale is next on my list, and even if you hate this game, you might find something else you like. The game seriously isn't for everyone, but if you like the art style, try it, but I can't say I can recommend dropping $40 for basically a walking simulator art gallery that feels generally just untested and unfinished. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you disagree, honestly, just thumbs it down. I'll be cranking out a ton of more reviews in October. Got a lot of games coming out, like I said, Plague Tale. Gotham Knights, unfortunately. Not hearing good things here, but thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.